many meter readers?
I have to read the meters.
I can't tell you.
Is it?
Bob, you?
When we do contract out the meter reads for like routes, we do this both by the person, so that's one thing that's different than a lot of utilities. Our attrition rate on meter readers was over 1/3 per year we were losing, since it would be taking on another job somewhere in the company. At one time we did around 150 or so meter readers in the company, so it's down quite a bit
So
less
you're,
right now.
yeah, you're saving quite a bit of money there, so why would you charge the, I guess that's what my question is, why do we charge somebody $9.80 a month?
Again,
When you're obviously have a huge saving from people losing their job.
I wouldn't say people losing their job, but those guys have taken on jobs in different areas of the company as well, quite a few of them have especially. The $9.80, again, as Joe says, respected to doing more or less single reads in single areas as opposed to doing 200 or 300 homes in a street at one time, or immediate streets.
I can address the losing jobs point. And I'm talking round numbers, but we had in the area of 180 to 200 meter readers that were Detroit Edison employees, and those guys all bid out. So we're down to just a handful, less than 20, that are still reading meters. So the other guys, they moved on to other things, so they're meter technicians or whatever they're working on. The guys, the contractors who are reading the meter, again, you got 1/3 of those guys. There's a lot of churn for that, but our vendor used a lot of those guys and trained them to actually be meter installers, which was good for us because they're used to getting in the car, coming to people's homes, talking to customers, dealing with dogs, dealing with lock fences, all of the stuff that goes on in customers' yards. Those guys have been doing it for a long time. So those guys, big percentage of those guys wound up there. We haven't gotten rid of anybody. As a matter of fact, Bob was even in that group for a long time, and Bob went on to another job. Not a meter reader, but he was one of the staff guys.
I have a good question for you though. Like, you guys reach out to the people, like when you're gonna go in and install it, what does it take to turn the radio off? What do they have to do to turn the radio off from that?
They have a probe that they hook up here. There's firmware inside here, and what the probe will do is it'll instruct the firmware to shut the radio off, and that's what it does. And when we can't, once the radio's out, I put a big orange sticker on the top that says radio's off. I have to be careful because there's an eye in this thing. So I put it to the side that says radio's off, and it's done. And can I turn it on remotely? No.
I guess my concern would be like the rate of 67 per request. If you call me and say, hey, Mr. Woolley, we're going to change out your thing, and I say I want to opt out at that point, why couldn't he just do it at that point? And then why have to charge him 67 bucks? I don't mind the $980 per month or whatever, but if somebody requests at the time of installation, I don't think they should be charged.
Well, it either gets done in one of two places. It either gets done on the workbench or it gets done on your house. But it takes the same amount of time.
Okay. And how long would that be? To turn that radio
Well,
off?
if it's a rainy day and I got a customer talking to him, it's about 35 minutes. If it's on the workbench and he's doing it with nobody bothering him, it's probably about 20 minutes.
Okay. Do they go out with ones that are already?
No.
Okay.
The meters are installed by the vendor in most cases. The radios are shut off by the Edison guys.
Okay.
So he comes in, he'll just skip you.
Okay.
And then the Edison guys got to, the DTE guys got to come back and shut it down. Now we go into the field with them quite a bit and work with the guys as they shut things off. And so it's always, I made that comment, it sounds flip, but you know, customers come out and talk to the guys, and a 20-minute job becomes a 40-minute job because the customer is asking tons of questions. So
these rates here, MPSC approved them?
yes, correct.
All right, now these rates, are they locked in, or is there potential for them to go up and down?
Well, there is a potential for them to go up and down because the rate is based on the number of people that take advantage of the program. So when we filed our testimony, we gave them a formula that said we would have, and I don't remember the exact number, but 4,000 people opt out. Don't write that down. I'm working off the top of it. 4,000 people opt out. The MPSC said, no, we disagree. You're going to have 12,000 people opt out, and that's how that number came forward. So hypothetically speaking, the program gets done, and we've got 5,000 people have opted out. That means the price, theoretically, in a rate case could go up.
what do the statistics show right now as far as these communities? You said Groseal's done, there's a lot of communities that are done. What's the percentages running as far as opt-outs?
Well, Groseal, I can tell you Groseal for a fact has one person is opted out. Washtenaw County and Ann Arbor, the numbers are, we've had a grand total of 1,990 people out of 1.5 million. So you're talking, what, 0.04%,
1.5 million?
0.04%, something like that. Is that mathematically right? So it hasn't been a lot of folks.
Thank you.
Is there some type of cap, going back to like the per month rate, is there a cap at all that is, doesn't imposed by MPSC or your,
It's all mathematics.
it's all math?
I will tell you that other states charge as high as $300. Bob, is that what
Yeah,
Portland
one up
charges?
in Portland, Maine, is like 340 or something like that. I want to make sure you understand that the rate, it's fixed through an MPSC tariff. It can only be adjusted through going through another rate case in some fashion. It isn't just, there's no escalation factor today for inflation or anything like that. It's firm until there's another rate case that would plus or minus it off of that, and we decide to place it.
Now, let me talk just a second. If an installer comes to your home and you say, hey, listen, this isn't, he hands the customer this card. This card says, this is how you opt out. Now, all the communication that we send to the customer tells them how to opt out, but people are people. They don't read it. They don't read from top to bottom. They read the first line, and they don't read it. So our installer give them this. Here you go. Try to opt out. And this tells them pretty explicit directions. It tells them the rates. It tells them everything. So pretty much what we talked about is handed to the customer.
Okay, that's before they even switch it out though.
Yes. Well, you got to come out and say, hey, this isn't for me.
Well, there'll be some people in the city that are clearly against this, and they will say, get off my property. What happened? You just hand them the card? Okay.
That's already happened.
Okay, no, I
You know, ours was done about, I'm not even sure because my husband handled it, I wasn't home. But what they did with him, we have 3 dogs, 2 was out in the yard, and they knocked on the door, asked him to please call the dogs in, that they had a new meter they wanted to put in, and my husband said, we just got a new meter, ours was broke, and we called in for a new meter. No, well, we need to look at it. They went back there and looked at it. They said, no, this is the new meter that we're putting in now. That's all they said. He didn't get that, he didn't get anything. He just thought that we had to have a new meter.
Notice in the mail?
No, we didn't get nothing.
That's
And,
what I really find it too.
we got absolutely nothing, and I didn't even know that we had a new meter until all this came up, and I said, should somebody knock on the door and ask about a meter and make sure that we take the opt-out? And he looked at me and turned about white. At that point, I knew we already had a new meter. I said, did you ask them any information on this? He said, they just told me that we had to have a new one. He said, I informed them we already had one, and they said it was a different type, and I told them, go ahead, do what they had to do. Now, that's what we got. We didn't get any other information, and I got nothing in the mail.
Well, I will tell you, I'm not being argumentative, but I personally audited the letter process. And we hired the same guys that send out your bill. So if you get a bill every month, you get a letter sent by us. We went to the
Well,
group.
3 of my neighbors never got a letter. They knew nothing about it.
Well, you know what, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you that we went to the same group and we audited 2 times. And they had.
Well, let me ask you this, does the letter say that we will be doing this in the near future, and this is going to happen, or does it say we're going to be out there this week?
No, it says near, says,
Copies of the letter.
Where did this letter, I mean, was it an individual letter? Was it in with our electric?
It's
no,
an
no, 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 no,
individual
no.
letter.
It's a separate letter.
Yeah.
It's got your name on it.
Because I usually take care of all the,
And what we say is, and this is in the book, I think I left books, did you guys all get books? And it talks about in the next few weeks, DTE Energy will be installing advanced metering in your area.
Linda, when did they do yours?
I'm not sure because Bill just gave me that deer in the headlights look like it's already done, so I don't even know when it got
I
done.
did my mom's like 2 weeks ago, and the letter just came last week, so it came after.
Yeah, and I know there was nothing like this because this kind of stuff gets left on a snack bar and there was nothing there, so I don't know.
You can have that. If you want to opt out, you can have that. And we'll just call a number and we'll take care of it.
Well, I'm not willing to pay $70 to opt out of something. I mean, I just.
And also, in the opt-out letter, it gives the fees. For the, the installment. So page